by saying, you're a wonderful entrepreneur.
Thank you.
You have your own studio, the Nellie Rose, and you're a wonderful mother.
Thank you.
And I just want to talk tonight about all of the
Yeah.
things that you've done and the accomplishments that you have. And I really think that your
Trying to
story.
get deep in emotion. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I really think
I
that.
started off goofy, so people that know me, I'm goofy as fuck.
No,
but
stay goofy.
Yeah,
This is us. So, I definitely want to see, how you can help other people, other entrepreneurs, especially other women who are trying to balance a life full of, work, family, and just overall doing as much as you do.
relationships.
Relationships. Hey, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So, the first question that I do want to ask you is, can you tell me about your early life in the Philippines? Because you are from the Philippines,
Yes.
and how was that transition
Yeah.
moving to the United States?
Well, I came to the U.S. when I was 5
Oh,
years old. So I was adopted by my aunt. Her name is Nellie, and my biological mother is Rose. So that's where my name came from, Nellie Rose. But I didn't know that I was adopted until I was 15. Wait, was I 15 in 99? But in 99, I'm going to do the math here. But that's when we flew out to the Philippines in 99. The best, like that highlight of my life when I was, I guess, I was somewhat like um, doing well in school. I was a straight A student. Um, Despite like just living in Maryland. Yes, I lived in Maryland. I was the only Filipino in my school, so there's a lot of like fights, and I got suspended every 2 weeks because of fighting. But a lot of it was because I was like defending myself, and people were like, "What are you?" Long story. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. Coming up as a teen, people gonna choose you, but it's always good to stand up to those people. So, as far as like your challenges, like what were some of your biggest challenges moving to the United States from the Philippines?
Um, just adapting. Even though I grew up in the U.S., it was definitely about adapting to. I'm a military brat, so we like lived all over the U.S. But honestly, the question is about how I adapted to the Philippines, because I had to live back home in a whole different country, which is my country, yes, but like I had to adapt to my own country, a country that I never knew. So the U.S. wasn't foreign to me, but like moving back home, they treated me even worse back home.
So why do you think that is? Is it because you're from America?
Because I'm not from America, and because that I didn't speak my own language. They were like, "Oh, you're in our country. You should know how to, speak Tagalog, which is our language." They weren't having that. Tagalog.
Okay.
Tagalog.
Tagalog. Oh,
Tagalog.
right.
Tagalog. Yes.
Okay.
But we have over like 96 different dialects in our country, um, and over 1,700 different islands. But yeah, they treated me like I was a foreigner in my own country, which, I was. I was. I didn't know how to communicate with anybody. I was that. I was that alone. I was alone. Yeah.
So as far as being lonely, right? Did that shape the way that you are today, or?
Absolutely. I lived out there 8 years, so I've had to adapt and navigate through college and through growing up, kind of in my own head trying to figure out what everyone else is thinking and saying and doing. You know, I've had to pay attention to body language and how people look at me and pay attention more about, I don't know, I became honestly an expert when it comes to reading people because I've had to do it for so long at a young age, you know, and that's why now I can be in a room full of people and just read people now, knowing if they like me or if they're uncomfortable, if they're happy, if they're, you know. But yeah, that's the biggest challenge is not knowing how to communicate with somebody, but knowing a different way. Like you can, I had to Google Translate a lot of stuff, but yeah.
No doubt, no doubt.
The language barrier is a barrier. Yeah.
So that's a good segue to start asking me about you being an entrepreneur because it's always good to know what to say, especially to somebody who you're trying to do business with or trying to interact with in a certain way to get them to do a specific thing, right? So as far as like the Nellie Rose studio,
Yes.
so can you walk me through some of your inspirations behind you starting your own studio
Yes.
and getting your own venue?
Yeah, so COVID. Pretty sure a lot of us, right?
The old COVID.
Experience the isolation and not being able to be creative. We've had to find different ways of doing that. I think a lot of creative people have pushed towards like TikTok, Instagram, going live, being more online. And now look, people are making a business out of it. We didn't know at the time, right? But for me, I wasn't familiar with Instagram and so familiar with online presence because I'm a face-to-face person. I'm generally like old school to where I need to be around people. I need to experience the face-to-face interaction. So what I did was I opened up and I rented out a warehouse. The warehouse was about 1,100 at the time. It was a blank canvas. Just think of it like a drive-up warehouse. It was just that. But from that, I just made a bold post online. I was like, hey, anybody that wants to do a photography and modeling event, let's, I'm doing these concepts. Let's get together. And I actually created a concept every month. Like, okay, this month we're gonna do black light body paint. People showed up. We did Tatted on the Beach. And Tatted on the Beach, that was the most successful event I've ever had. So I would order like fake tattoos. I didn't have these many tattoos then, but um, the tattoos kind of symbolize just being comfortable in your own skin. And you know what? Women that didn't have tattoos showed up. They wanted to experience the thought of, and I think that applies to a lot of us that want to experience certain things but don't have the courage to and don't want to make the commitment or take that risk, right? So what I did was I created the opportunity to make them feel such. And guess what? That actually helped them propel in their modeling careers right now. Those women that came out, they are now like Instagram, TikTok famous. I'm not mentioning any names, but they are doing very well right now. A lot of us need that push in life. And we're all trying to find that like space. And whatever space that may be, it could just be one space. You're around the right people at the right time. You're in the right space in your life to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, right? And that's what happened. And I know God had his hands on me at the time because I was able to talk to these women before, months before the event, and talk them through. Like, I'm very hands on. So people sign up, they call me, they have all these questions, and I'm holding their hand. Because for me, it's not about the money. I only charge them like $75, whatever, right? But for me, it wasn't all right, I'm taking your money, you don't hear from me ever. Like, no, you call me, you have a question, let's talk. Like, it was more than that. I'm not a millionaire because there's $75. No, the 75 went towards like building sets. I made like teepees, I made different backdrops, I bought the tattoos. Like, there were over 40 models that showed up.
Oh man.
So I provided food, drinks, whatever. So it was actually going towards doing something greater than myself. And that was the goal. And I think we all need to understand and ask ourselves, okay, if we're going into business, what are we doing? Are we going to be selfish and greedy greedy and selfish? But you see what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, we want to feel good about ourselves, right? We want to be able to sleep at night. But I knew I was doing what I love because shit, I was on the beach smiling with them too. I didn't have these many tattoos, but seeing how those group of people, we're all looking for a place in life. And it's about creating it.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that you found your place. So I'm glad you said that you were a model, right? So if we could speak on some of the lessons that you learned being an entrepreneur and being a model, what could you tell somebody who's trying to get into this industry and do the same things that you're doing right now?
Create your own identity. Create your own identity. Create your own. Seriously. I've been told by many people that I couldn't do what I do. And I'm not saying, I'm not famous whatsoever. I wish. But that comes with a price. And that comes with a lot of things. But it's just about creating your own story, rewriting it, which is okay. Sometimes we may have to write that story and tear it, just rewrite it and rewrite it, and that's okay. But modeling for me isn't about just being known and being famous. It's about doing for you. Like, what do you want your community to remember you by? I'd rather be known by 10 people than 1,000 people. Well, 1,000 is pretty small too, but like, let's say Hollywood. I'd rather be known by 10 people than Hollywood because, when you get up to a certain level in life, they're going to make you're a puppet at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You lose your identity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, you don't want someone to come into your home and tell you to rearrange and be who they want you to be. I think that wouldn't be settling for me. So,
I agree.
I don't want to ever be famous. I want people to know who I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the most important thing as far as being a creative, right? People seeing the real you, people understanding who you are as a person, as opposed to people trying to get to you. Because when people try to get to you, it's difficult, right? And I've had my own little times saying, hey, I don't know if this is worth it, right? Because I get in contact with the wrong people. So has there ever been a time where you felt like I want to give up?
Yes, absolutely. Every day. Every day since I've opened my studio downtown.
Word?
Yes. Yes, because the amount of money I've had to invest in myself, I've had to pull money from like savings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first check was over 30 grand.
Mm.
And I had to, it took like 2 years to build, maybe a year and a half to build a business line of credit. And, just the first year of being in business, people didn't know I was here. I had to like truly, I didn't have a PR, like no one was, as far as marketing, like helping us. But we are the number one event studio in Houston, on Peer Space.
I like that. I
Now,
like that plug-in. I like
yeah,
that plug-in.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, third floor won the 2024 award, and then the second floor won 2025
Mm.
the best event. So, yes, we brought them a lot of money. Thank you, Peer Space. But people don't realize I've had to work so hard, night and day and night. That first year we're not making money, you are the janitor. You do the marketing, you do the sales. I'm in the studio painting, I'm doing the repairs, I'm paying the set. I'm doing all that to save money, you know.
You gotta mop the floors.
I gotta
You
do
gotta
all
clean the
that.
windows.
Yeah,
You gotta do everything
everything.
as far as the business. So,
Yeah.
hearing that you went through all of those things, like what motivated you to keep going and doing everything that you've accomplished up to this point?
Because I kind of compared my life to my 9 to 5 back in the day.
Hmm.
When my daughter was my oldest, she's now 18, but when she was a baby, I was a janitor actually for an apartment complex that I lived at, and I worked at McDonald's part time as a cashier, and I did drive through too, but I fucked that up all the way. Fucked that up. Woo! Yes, I had very many. I had a lot of angry ass people through that door. So anyway, but it's just knowing that I was just having a good old time, like on the mic, talking to people through the drive-through. It's like, okay, I
Hmm.
don't need. This is not my
Yeah,
line
that's
of
not
work.
your thing. You're not gonna do that forever, right? Yeah, yeah, I understand. I understand, man.
But I made the best out of it, and honestly, I knew that I needed to create a job where I was going to be available for my kids. But I needed to fulfill me. I needed to fulfill my desires in my heart. But at the same time, I needed to find a way to like give back,
Hmm.
give other people hope, and give other people love. Because when I meet people, as crazy as it sounds, I think I love people so hard because I never felt
That type of
that type of love.
Oh, now I wasn't gonna go this route, but I'm glad that you said that. So, I'm glad that you mentioned being a mother, right?
Yeah.
And also being an entrepreneur. So, can you speak about the balance between being a mother, being an entrepreneur, and as well as being a model, right? How do you balance everything?
Mm. Well, you can balance everything very well when you have a partner in life.
Mm,
Because having children is a full time job
within itself,
within
absolutely.
itself. And as you know, you're a parent,
Hmm.
but you also need that support. I think children grow up in a healthy household, and there's two. It could be mom, grandparents, mom, dad, grandparents, or the other way, right? But it always requires two. It always requires two people. Um, the recording, right? Because my daughter is calling.
Yeah, we can.
No, um, sorry guys, my daughter was calling.
Hey,
It
and
always,
speaking perfect
it's
timing,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
Speaking about
it's
you
my
being a
oldest.
mother, right?
Yeah, it's my oldest. So she's 18 now. But that's the thing. Like when I gave birth to my daughter, my 18-year-old,
hmm
I was a single mom at the time, and that's when I was working those odd jobs. But I noticed that it really affected her well-being because she didn't have my undivided attention. And her dad wasn't in the picture when she was born because I just gave birth to her, and then a week later, I found out that her dad got a woman pregnant, and she actually sent me a text, and she was like, "Hey, I'm 4 months pregnant by him," and I wasn't mad at her at all, and I know I was 21 at the time, and I'm a U.S. citizen in the Philippines. The whole idea in a Catholic country, very traditional, was, oh, if you have a baby by this man, you're going to marry him and all this nonsense. But I think God truly stepped in and said that even though you have a baby by him, he's not your husband. And I wasn't upset. Being 21, I wasn't upset that that happened because I've always been spiritual and I know when God speaks to me, right? So I said, okay, cool. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm gonna take my baby. We're gonna go to the U.S. I'm gonna raise her here. I had a difficult time being a single mom raising her, but it happened, and she's she's an amazing young lady. She gives me hell sometimes, but I know I can recognize when she acts a certain way because she didn't have the piece of me that my younger children have.
Okay. Mhm.
They didn't have mommy full time. She didn't have mommy full time, and that really truly affects our kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's a different conversation, but I appreciate you for being vulnerable because this is an open space. So, I think that it's mostly important for your children to know that, as we grow older, right, we learn different things. So I mean, still kind of sort of technically a young parent, but I'm 31, so I'm not young, but I'm not old, right? But at the same time, my son is 11. This dude asked for the new J's. He asked for new consoles. He asked for, Fortnite. This dude spends $40 turning the sword into a candy cane and on Christmas. So it's like those type of things. It's difficult only because first off you single, and second off because you're young. So if come on now, come on now.
We're about to do a dating show here.
Come on now, and I'm gonna be your number one fan. You single, come out, man. We trying to talk to y'all. No doubt, no doubt. So the next episode, stay tuned. So as far as your business life and everything that you've done, modeling, any part of your life that you want to choose, who's been your biggest mentor, and what type of effect have they had on your life?
Mentor, mentor, none.
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 That's deep.
None. I think when you're starting your business, it should be about you.
Mm.
It should be when you get to a certain point in life where things have just not technically failed, but became a lesson in your life. You have to sit the fuck down and like ask yourself, all right, am I? It's a deep conversation. Like, okay, because we have kids. I have three. So when my kids are screaming, I want to see mommy more. I want to be with mommy more. You know, I know that my kids need my presence. I know it. But you surely have to figure out in life, like, what can you do to be more present? Like, if when I'm working, I'm on my laptop in the kitchen in our house, so they have access to me. But with that comes with stopping, and then you're accommodating.
Yeah.
Stopping, accommodating.
Go sit down.